What are some of the symptoms? What do you think some of the symptoms are?
Hot flushes, baby.
Hot flushes.
And what's the difference? There's hot flushes and there's hot flashes.
Welcome to another edition of LLsTheTruth. I'm here, joined with my special friends, Sharon and Sheryl.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Good night. Not
Good
even a good
evening.
morning.
Good morning.
Or the afternoon and evening, but good night. So today's topic is about a subject that we don't often talk about, and I don't really understand why. And so we're just going to discuss why that might be the case. So as parents in this day and age, everybody should be quite comfortable with discussing with their children puberty and their sexual health. And if you don't know what to say, there's so much information on the net or on other platforms for you to look at to enable you to speak quite freely with your children about their sexual health. But Sharon, we were talking the other day, and she was explaining the analogy that she uses when she's explaining sexual health to young people, and I just thought it would be interesting to hear her talk about it at this moment.
Well, as young boys, many people will have them. I explain it in a simple format, is that the child, the boy, has the electricity, he has the spark. So therefore, if he's got the spark, he has to be careful of who is sparking, who is igniting, because what I don't want is a little baby coming to my front door. Mm-hmm. So I says, with that spark that you have there, make sure you wrap it up, because I'm not able. So my motto to young boys is, you have the electricity, you have that spark, be careful who you're sparking with. Mm-hmm. And you need to protect yourself, and that means wrapping it up.
Right, okay.
I like that.
Yeah, so if you can't get away from the urge, you need to wrap it up.
Wrap it up, man. Listen, that spark is dangerous.
Yeah, definitely.
Once it's lit, you know what's coming.
The consequences are a lifetime. Okay, so, I mean, we can talk about sexual health and we can have a laugh about it, but menopause can be a quite serious situation for many women. But it's a topic that seems to be a bit of a taboo subject and not really raised very often. Is that because that nobody wants to talk about getting older?
I don't think it's that nobody doesn't want to talk about it. It's just that unless you're with friends who are actually going through it, that topic is never going to come up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's whether you have that relationship with your mum or your nan or your auntie who you can have that conversation with. Because obviously menopause starts from about 45 up until the age of about 51. Some people might experience a bit earlier. But unless you're going through it, that person who you're talking to probably doesn't understand what you're talking about.
So I suppose it's, when is that conversation supposed to start? Because I'm sure there's some information about menopause for some women can start as early as 40.
Mm-hmm. And in the 30s, isn't it? If
Yes.
somebody goes to early menopause.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you start quite early and you've not had your children, that's another biggest fear, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of the symptoms? What do you think some of the symptoms are?
Hot flushes, baby.
Hot flushes.
And what's the difference? There's hot flushes and there's hot flashes, which I didn't even realise there was a difference, and I'm probably going to get it wrong actually, but my understanding
Well, we're
is
not experts. We're going to say that we're not experts.
not
We're
medical
just talking
expert.
about the subject.
Yeah, my understanding is that like a hot flash is the heat sensation
Yes.
and the sweat and everything. But then, you know, for some people their cheeks go like red and everything, and then it's a flush as well as a flash, you know.
Yeah. But how do you spot that as being the menopause? Because, you know, there are friends of mine that were like, all of a sudden their face will go bright red and with embarrassment.
Yeah.
Or out of nowhere, they're just so flushed and they're fanning
You will know,
themselves
once you're going through it, you will know when you're having a hot flush, because that heat will come from nowhere, and you'll be like, is anybody else hot? And you feel like you're a nerd, because it's like, how comes you're not hot? And I'm telling you, it is hot.
Yeah.
And it's the profuse sweating that comes with it.
Right.
Because I can't remember the science of it, but your body thinks that you're hot.
Yes.
Like, your body thinks that you're hot. So it makes you hot, you know, the cells get all hot, to then invoke the sweating to cool you down. It's really weird. But it's the sweating and everything that comes when you're in a situation where you shouldn't even be hot. So that's, it's kind of
But of course, as women, we don't sweat, we perspire.
Of course.
So that
we glow.
perspire, that glowing.
As Victorian ladies.
Yes. Right, so some of the other symptoms are mood swings.
Oh, you can switch from one second to the next. Easy.
Yeah.
If you think when you're having a period, right, and you're moody then, put that on top of the menopause. So you can be okay now, you'll be laughing and joking, then you can switch in a flash.
From 1 to 100.
Yeah, easy.
And it's definitely something that I think that partners need to be aware of. You know, partners of women going through the menopause. Is being aware of the extent of the mood swings and all of that, because obviously it can have a massive effect on relationships. I'm sure some relationships probably break down because of menopause. You know,
that woman.
Sure.
So you know when they were talking about all women being Jekyll and Hyde,
it's true.
We're probably going through something.
No, it's true.
Through the menopause.
It's true. It's very true. I sent my husband the link to what menopause was to be aware.
You need to read this.
And he did read it, in all fairness. I can misuse, he read it. So I said, you need to be aware of these things. And I think it's important that your children know as well. So they don't think that when you're having a barney, it's not because you're getting mad at them. It's just that your body cannot deal with what's going on.
And if you're going a bit cranky, that might be the reason.
And start bawling for no reason.
So going back to, what? Crying.
You're crying for no reason?
A couple of years ago I was definitely feeling, I remember there was like a situation where I was outside a car park and somebody had cut me up or something, and then, you know, going somewhere afterwards, and I was just I think, you know, my daughter asked me a question and I just started crying, and it was the sort of crying that I thought, this isn't me. It didn't feel like me. I was like, who is this person? And I'm convinced it was just, you know, it's the hormonal imbalance and everything. Honestly, it makes you, almost makes you feel like you're going crazy. Like, I'm not even kidding.
And that's why they call us emotional wrecks, do you think? Because we always get this backlash, like, oh, she must be going through a time of the month. Then we've got this, oh gosh, she must be going through the change.
There's no let up, to be honest.
None at all. So, and then as well as the sweats, I suppose, that happen in the day, you have the night sweats, don't you?
Come on, like you peep up yourself.
Really?
Yeah. You're wet from head to foot with sweat.
Because I know,
but not everybody goes through it though.
So it's just, how is it going to affect you? Because I do know that a friend, she was saying to me that I'll wait up on the bed wet. I have to sleep with a towel. So as well as your internal boiler being irregular temperature, you can always suffer from fatigue and not being able to sleep. So your interrupted sleep as well. So that obviously doesn't set you up for the day when you wake up, because you haven't been able to sleep very well. You've been tossing and turning. Can't regulate your own.
I've had that a lot. The sleep. I've gone from somebody that was a really good sleeper, would generally get a solid 7-8 hours, to very interrupted sleep. You know, kind of almost like these 2-3 hour stints of sleep. Then maybe half an hour to an hour awake, and then kind of going back to sleep. It's very out of character.
So I'm wondering, viewers, have you ever gone to get something and you've gone and you can't remember what it was you were going to do?
Yes.
And you're just standing there and you're thinking, but hold on a minute, what have I come here for? And you cannot remember, not the foggiest, no pun intended, idea why you're standing here and what you're going to get. Some people call that brain fog, memory loss.
And there's another thing as well. You jumble up your words. Have you ever had it? You jumble up your words.
Can't
you know
think
when you
of the
say
word,
something and it comes out rubbish?
Yes.
Can't think of the word. You don't sound as articulate
as
you're not as clear and concise. All of that. For sure.
Lack of concentration.
The joys of a woman.
So I mean, I can think of a scenario. You could be at work and your performance isn't as on point as it used to be. So it's those conversations, isn't it? I mean, you might be in a managerial or supervisory role where you need to understand that maybe somebody doesn't realise they're going through the menopause, but you've identified some of the symptoms, and it's having that careful conversation about bringing it to their attention. Maybe you might be going through this.
But then Yeah, you can, but it depends on the environment that you're working in.
Yes.
Are they, or your team, are they going to be understanding? Because again, if they're not in that situation, they're not going to understand what it feels like.
Yeah. Everything about the working environment is about understanding individual needs and how that affects an individual on a team basis. So what would ordinarily happen, I mean, if it was a disability, or not saying menopause means you've got a disability, but if it's something that needs to be brought to the attention of a wider team, but in an anonymous way. So it could just be a general training point or development point for the team. These are the things that need to be considered when you're dealing with your counterparts and your colleagues.
Because like you say, it's not a disability, but it can be debilitating, you know, for a lot of women.
Yeah, so it's that understanding and having that. Hopefully you work for an organisation that will be pretty okay with adopting and adapting to the particular needs of individuals. Yeah. So, and it might be difficult for you as the person going through this to broach it, because depending on where you are on that career ladder, you might feel that it's going to put you at an unfair disadvantage, because people are not understanding and thinking, oh gosh, not another situation for, you know, that's why we don't want women in particular roles. It doesn't mean we're unable to do things. It doesn't mean we're not worth our salt. We definitely are. We're just going through something. We need that support.
Some adaptations.
Right. So I think it is a bit of a particular sticky subject, and I suppose I can personally understand why it might be a taboo subject, because it's associated with getting older. People might thinking, oh gosh, she's going for the menopause, you know, she's not worth her worthwhile, or she's not worthy of this role, or you just can't depend on this person because she might be a bit moody, a bit cranky. I mean, I do remember having a manager who was obviously going through the menopause. She had quite severe symptoms and she'd get extremely cranky, and I'd say to her, do you need to sit down? Let's have just a conversation, because she'd just bite somebody's head off. And she'd be so remorseful afterwards. And what I used to do is, you know, just sort of say to her, do you want me to broach this subject today? Or I just have it, you know, she was more of a friend than a manager. And sometimes that's what you need to be. Sometimes the dynamics of a relationship at work or even elsewhere have to change so that you can support that person going through a particular situation. And it was all something that she had to go through, and she had no sort of control over it. So I suppose this is where I talk about some of the treatments. So Cheryl, I think you've got some information at some of the treatments.
And I think, you know, even just sort of talking about it, and, you know, talking to friends, or, you know, whether you can bring it up with colleagues, helps you kind of feel a bit more in control. So I think even that is just a start. But some of the treatments, obviously, some people are aware of hormone replacement therapy, which is a road that some people go down. Diet is the one that I've been really interested in terms of looking at. So I'm vegan, have been for a few years, and there is research about the benefits of a plant-based diet in terms of the hormonal up and downs. It's supposed to kind of help to sort of level out the hormones. There's also CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy. And I guess, and just talking, you know, because like we've been saying, talking. I have found lately that more women will say things like, you know, oh, I've got the brain fog, you know, and it's the menopause, you know what I mean? And I think it's nice that women are starting to acknowledge it, and you can say, you know, oh, I'm not myself today, or whatever, because I think that side of it's really important. So, there's definitely help out there, and talking is definitely the first step.
Regular exercise is good, isn't it? Regular exercise, and some people are into some of the sort of herbal remedies.
Of course.
So it's always helpful if you're going through and you're established that you've got some of the symptoms of menopause, that you do consult your GP so you can get some specialist advice. We are no experts, but obviously we just wanted to talk about this taboo subject. So, you know, the only thing I'd say now is that if I could have 5 minutes with Eve, it would be a very strong conversation, because as a result of her eating that fruit, that apple, childbirth has been strenuous, Well, the menstruation has been arduous, and now we got the menopause. When is it? I mean, we are some
Superwomen.
superpower women, aren't we? That's the truth.
Yes.
Now that's the
Truth, yes.
Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. Let us have your comments. What have you been going through? Are you sympathetic to the woman that's going through the menopause? And please do share. Goodbye.
Bye.